London, city of pomp and majesty. Welcome to London, one of the most cosmopolitan cities in the world. You might even say it's where the world comes together. London is a city of world landmarks and iconic images which we're about to explore. It is a global melting pot of civilization, and many of the world's ethnicities are represented here. Remarkably, it is said that there are 300 languages spoken throughout the city. London is the capital city of England and of the United Kingdom. It covers an area of over 600 square miles and has 10,000 streets. Over 8 million people live here, even more if you expand the city boundaries to include the outlying areas. The Palace of Westminster was originally built in the 11th century by Edward the Confessor. It was the London residence of royalty until the early 1500s, when Henry VIII decided he would live elsewhere. It then became, and continues to be, the centre of the government of the United Kingdom. Here you will find both of the Houses of Parliament. They are the House of Lords and the House of Commons. Outside the House of Commons in Parliament Square is the iconic statue of the beloved Sir Winston Churchill. The Palace of Westminster contains over 1,100 rooms, 100 staircases, and 3 miles of passageways spread over 4 floors. The longest standing part of the palace is Westminster Hall, which is still used to this day. There are 2 towers of note at the Westminster Palace. The first is the tallest, Victoria Tower, standing at 325 feet. Here, in the archives, you will find a copy of every Act of Parliament since 1497. When the House of Commons is in session, a Union Jack flag flies from the tower. The second tower is the most famous of all. It is the Elizabeth Tower, home of the world-famous Big Ben. The clock's hour hand is 9 feet long, and the minute hand is 14 feet long. It has been keeping time since 1859. You may be surprised to know that the name Big Ben belongs to the bell that chimes the hour, and not the clock itself. On our way to the next World Heritage Site, we will come first to the famous Tower Bridge. Many believe its name to be London Bridge, but in fact it's named for our next stop, the Tower of London, directly beside it. The tower dates back to the time of William the Conqueror, after he claimed the English throne in 1066. He built it to make a strong statement to his subjects about loyalty to their new king, and to establish his rule in England. The White Tower was the first building, and so the oldest in the tower complex. It took almost 200 years to build the rest of the tower. Even today, it is still part of the royal family's holdings. Over time, it has been a fortress, a royal palace, a prison, an armory, a mint, and a treasury. It is also home to the crown jewels of England. Here is the official home of the royal family, famously known as Buckingham Palace. At first glance, you would likely never guess that inside this palace are 600 rooms, or that the palace sits on 30 acres of land in the centre of London. Inside are 19 staterooms, 52 royal and guest bedrooms, 188 staff bedrooms, and 78 bathrooms. More than 400 people work at Buckingham Palace, and each year 40,000 people are entertained here. London is well known for its pageantry and regal traditions. The changing of the guard at Buckingham Palace is a good example of these celebrations. Not too far away is a building of possibly even greater royal significance, Westminster Abbey. It has existed in various forms since 1065, but the Gothic design we see today was begun by Henry III in 1245. Westminster Abbey has witnessed the coronation of each of England's monarchs from William the Conqueror in 1066 to Elizabeth II in 1953. 40 kings and queens in all. I hope you've enjoyed our virtual tour of one of the world's most relevant and fascinating cities. Thanks for joining us. Cheerio.